Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul, and in this ReGameTedCon video, I'm here with...
Amy, hello.
Yeah, we're doing this whole thing today because there's an alleged leak telling us what games we're going to be seeing at E3 2018 from Sony, including their entire E3 conference, allegedly, and from Capcom, where we see the Devil May Cry 5 domain being registered, as well as a major update to Resident Evil 2. Now, of course, don't take this as gospel, it may turn out to be a load of crap, but we'll discuss it anyway for the lols. Do you want to go through what list we've got, and then we can kind of go from...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just quickly blast through the list, and then we can kind of choose...
We'll start with Sony, of course.
Well, yeah, I'll pretty blast... Basically, an alleged list, another one has popped up for Sony. Now, as I discussed a while back, the previous list was way too good to be true. This one seems a bit more believable, but I'm still, like, raising an eyebrow. So, we've got Ghost of Tsushima, Medieval, PlayStation Party, Spyro...
Well, that's the game right there, the PlayStation Party.
Yeah, it's Game of the Year. Spyro, Spider-Man, Shenmue 3, Resident Evil 2, DMC 5, Final Fantasy 7, Kingdom Hearts 3... Bioshock Resurgence, Bloodborne 2, Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, PUBG, and the Socom Coalition. So, I guess we'll start with the most realistic ones, I guess?
Well, I think the most realistic one is PlayStation Party. And it's certainly the one that I care about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Game of the Year, 10 out of 10, would recommend...
So shall we actually like throw that into the scrap heap, right? And then just get on with the other ones? I think Shenmue is pretty obvious. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see something on Shenmue.
I don't know, because the list says it's a demo, and that's what makes me kind of wonder, because it was delayed recently.
Yeah, but it might just be a short playable section, which is kind of shown, and it's spruced up real nice, shined up real pretty for E3. So it could be like 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure that even a Kickstarter campaign can make 3 minutes to 5 minutes of playable on-screen footage look reasonable.
Well, I'd say, you know, Medieval, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. You know, we already know that's a thing that exists, and it would make sense. Obviously, Spyro would make sense for the same reason.
And they're trailers as well, so...
Yeah, they're trailers.
They might not even be in-game stuff. It might literally just be CGI.
Yeah, it just says trailer. It doesn't specify. And obviously, Spyro already had a trailer, so if we were to see it, I would expect some gameplay. Medieval, I don't believe we've seen anything of yet, but I might be wrong. So I would say both of those are a fairly reasonable bet.
Spider-Man, obviously, that's if you don't like someone, you essentially strap them to the PSVR headset, and then you just basically go in puke mode.
Yeah, oh yeah, because I didn't actually say it's a PSVR mode for Spider-Man. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's literally to be like, would you like some puke on your couch?
Yeah, would you like to vomit everywhere? Like, that's...
Yeah, imagine I mean, don't get me wrong, it's one of those things where it seems cool in theory, but... Lots of things are cool in theory. Practice on someone.
It's not impossible. I mean, Doom VR, when that was announced, I was just ugh. Yeah, but they've actually did it in a really clever way.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would work for Spider-Man. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll wait and see. Now, we do actually also have Resident Evil 2 Remake PSVR
and DMC 5 as well.
Yeah.
I think we should discuss those later with the Capcom stuff, though.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7 Remake demo.
The reason I'm inclined to believe this is there was that leak a couple of days ago, a week ago, whatever it was, where one of the dudes at Square, I can't remember the chap's name, sorry, there was an image that leaked from his desk showing Cloud fighting the one of the bosses in the game.
Oh, yeah, you put it on our Facebook, didn't you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that we can possibly see something in relation to that. But how much gameplay we're actually going to see, in my opinion, it's probably going to be like the opening, few minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see some actual gameplay for Final Fantasy VII Remake, because Square have not been shy about the fact that they're going to change stuff. They have been very open about the fact they are going to change it. The combat is not going to be the same. I think... As I don't want to say this is a direct quote, because I'm not going to say my memory's that great, because it really isn't, but one of them definitely said something along the lines of, the old game still exists, we're not here to just remake it.
Yeah, essentially, this is going to be different gameplay.
Yeah. So anyone's expecting Final Fantasy VII just for shinier graphics, I think, is going to be disappointed.
I think the other obvious one is Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, we've already seen a bunch of trailers for this thing. We've seen lots of photos. I don't particularly think that that's unreasonable. And the same could be said for Death Stranding. I mean, we've seen so little of it, other than a few very, well, at best, dubious trailers. Like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, they're more just like, I feel like Hideo Kojima's just messing with me at this point.
Yeah, they're more concepts than anything.
Yeah, but so seeing some actual gameplay of Death Stranding would be just wonderful. Because we don't even know what kind of game it is yet. Like, is it first person, third person? You know, like, do you play as a clown who stands on his head the entire game? Like, you know.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, well, of course there were rumours that Sony were going to be receiving a port at some point or another. One can argue that Microsoft still haven't got one, given how shit that the folks over at Bluehole are when it comes to optimization. And I'm sure at some point or another they'll actually remember how to optimize for console. But, you know, it's a fable that we've been hearing for a long time now.
It's written in the ancient scrolls, I think.
You know, it's actually going to be more interesting for me because given the fact that the PS4 and PS4 Pro are inherently weaker, considerably so actually on the CPU side than the Xbox One, and the fact that, because remember you've got 1.6 gigahertz for the PS4 for the PS4's base CPU compared to 1.75 of the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
The Xbox One X has a couple of hundred megahertz above the PS4 Pro, and you've got the ludicrous memory bandwidth for the Xbox One X and the higher GPU. God knows what they're going to have to do. I mean, I don't know. The one good thing about the PS4 base model, of course, it's got GDDR5. I don't know. Either way, that's out the remit of this video, but I think the base model PS4 is probably going to do better than the base model Xbox, but that's not really difficult given how the optimization... I mean, to be honest, you can run this thing with a GTX 1080 Ti and like an i7 8700K and, well, yeah. So
yeah, something I didn't really consider, to be fair. The optimization issues that this game has had on console are particularly bad, and obviously they're
doing better.
It doesn't run brilliantly on PC, so that is an issue I didn't actually consider, to be fair. So,
well, maybe if they win against Epic Games, they can sue them and use that money to hire developers which are competent.
Oh dear, don't even. Right, so I mean, I think it would. It was realistic in terms.
I don't think they're going to be getting Unreal Engine updates anytime soon.
Don't. That whole thing is so silly. What was I saying?
SOCOM Coalition, I suppose.
Oh no, I just very quickly wanted to say, yeah, I think it's realistic in terms of, you know, they're going to want the money, but is it realistic in terms of could they actually get running to a reasonable degree? Yeah, debatable. SOCOM Coalition, I literally don't know what it is, or I had never heard of it before this point. So
well, it was a Navy SEALs game. It was actually on the PS2.
Right.
It was actually one of the first games that supported the online play for the PS2, which either you could get with on the Slim or the network adapter. There were a couple of other games as well for the PS2 which did it. I never actually bothered with a network adapter for the PS2 because, well, yeah, I just didn't. Although I did eventually try a little bit online with, like, SmackDown, I think, for fun, at a friend's house because I had my PS2 and he had SmackDown, and we kind of just tried it very briefly online, and it was not that great, but then again, you know. Anywho, yeah, so I've not really that much of an idea what SOCOM Coalition's going to be like.
I have no opinion one way or the other on that. So the biggest one on this list that makes me kind of raise an eyebrow as to its legitimacy...
Oh, I suppose we might as well discuss Last of Us 2. They're saying the demo... actually, I don't know if you saw, but on the official Facebook account, they've actually said E3 2018, so it's we at least know that Last of Us Part 2 is going to be at E3 2018 for Last, but that's pretty obvious.
Well, we haven't seen any gameplay at all, so that would be great. But what I was going to say was, the biggest thing on this list that makes me makes me go, I don't know if this is real or not, is the presence of Bloodborne 2, a trailer, allegedly. Yeah. Now, obviously, we don't know what Shadows Die Twice or whatever it ends up being called that From is working on actually even is. We had some rumours rumours, giant letters, the other day, but, you know...
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are we sure that Bloodborne 2...
Mm-hmm.
You know, for all we know, internally, Bloodborne 2 could be known as the, Toothpick. So what I'm saying is, are we sure that Shadows Die Twice is the same thing as Bloodborne 2? Now, I've heard, I'm not sure about this,
right?
But I've heard From Software are making some money. So apparently those Sony dollars are also kind of lucrative. So it's possible that they do actually have enough individuals to work on two games. Or maybe they don't. Maybe Shadows Die Twice is the same thing as Bloodborne 2. Or maybe they're not. I mean, which does make me wonder. Because didn't they do that with Dark Souls 2? Wasn't Dark Souls 2 being produced at the same time?
It was the B team, yeah. It was the B team.
So it makes me wonder if the B team is working on Bloodborne 2 or working on something else.
I mean, yeah, it's possible, but here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
They have said that they're done with Dark Souls. However, they have they've kind of danced around the topic of Bloodborne. It's kind of been implied because they've said stuff like, "Oh, we want to make a different type of game," that sort of thing. And obviously, Bloodborne, as different as it is to Dark Souls, it is a Souls game essentially in terms of the raw combat loop of you sit at lanterns / bonfires, you kill enemies, you get souls or echoes, and you kill big bosses, that sort of thing. There are differences, obviously, but it has the similar ideas as a Dark Souls game, essentially.
Beware the old blood.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. He hasn't come out and said there's no more Bloodborne, but he hasn't come out and said there will be either. So, I guess it's possible, but I don't know. I would be surprised, I guess, but it would make sense. If Sony turned up at their door like, here's a huge sack of cash to make Bloodborne 2, they might be persuaded.
See, from my mind, this list, I'm pretty convinced, other than SOCOM, SOCOM, I don't know. BioShock Resurgence, well, there are those rumours, we'll get to BioShock in a second. And, of course, Bloodborne 2. Those are the only games which really are making me think, But Bloodborne 2, given how popular the first one was on the PS4,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Because the game does kind of feel like there should be a sequel. Like, I'm not going to spoil the ending for anyone.
Yeah, the ending is...
Well, technically there's 3 endings.
Yeah, but...
So one of the endings...
Arguably, the true ending, it still leaves a lot to be desired in terms of an actual conclusion.
Yeah, because the dream is still essentially going on.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it, so I won't say anything more, but it doesn't end conclusively, let's just say that, basically.
No, it does not end conclusively.
To be fair, any Souls game doesn't end conclusively.
I was going to say, did Dark Souls 3 end conclusively?
No, because, again, there's 3 different endings, and
right.
each one... Well, actually, no, one of them is kind of like that's it, but even then you could argue that there's a chance.
So there's 3 possible endings. Are you sure there's not 4? Alt F4.
I mean, I guess technically.
That's the best ending. Alt F4. Okay.
I think there's 3 endings, yeah. Regardless, that one makes me raise an eyebrow.
Okay.
BioShock Resurgence, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
We've heard the rumours about a new BioShock.
Yeah, and it has a PSVR mode as well, allegedly. Ooh. So, as long as that's optional, I don't really care. I
imagine so. That's not going to be exclusive to the PlayStation anyone, blatantly.
No. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see BioShock return, but I don't know if I want it to, because it's not going to be Irrational Games making it.
I'm not going to judge it until I've seen it, because if it's a good studio and it looks cool... I mean, to be honest, Infinite, to me, was not as good as BioShock 1. BioShock, it went 1, then Infinite, then BioShock 2.
Yeah, Infinite had its issues, to be honest.
Yeah,
but,
the combat, I just felt like, I don't know, you just felt a bit too...
I mean, I loved the world, and the story was really good, and I enjoyed it. I played it all the way through, but the combat was a major weak point, and given that you spend most of the game fighting stuff, that's not really a good sign.
No.
But shall we round things off with a kind of tie-in with Capcom?
Yeah, with Capcom.
So basically what's happened is a bunch of domains have been updated.
Yes, they have.
And some of them are quite interesting. Now, the most interesting ones, I would say...
DMC5.
Is DMC5. That's been updated. Now, that's also on the list that we just saw.
Now, just for your FYI, of course, anyone can buy a domain, right? So I could happily buy a domain which says Devil May Cry 25, but it appears to be an internet provider in Japan, and it also has a relation to previous websites from Capcom, and this includes Monster Hunter World and Resident Evil 7. So what we have here is essentially DMC5 and also ResidentEvil2.com, and in fact, if you go to ResidentEvil2.com right now, I'm just going to pause for you to go Resident Evil 2. Okay, so now you've seen the OK message. And what's rather interesting for me, anyway, is that the company responsible for registering domains... By the way, this is on a thread on Reset Era. But what's interesting is that Resident Evil 2 domain was recently updated, and it appears that, generally speaking, just from Capcom's past history, it would appear that we're going to be seeing an official revealing at, well, possibly E3.
I mean, that would make perfect sense, and I would actually be extremely happy to see Resident Evil 2 remake. There's also allegedly going to be a PSVR mode, which would kind of make sense. Now, here's what I will say. I really, 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 really hope they're not doing first person with Resident Evil 2. Now, I did like that for Resident Evil 7. I thought that was a brave choice that worked out really, really well. I thought it was a much needed change of direction for the series. However,
I didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it.
However, with Resident Evil 2, I do not want that.
You know, the only reason I think that Resident Evil 2... Okay, let me start again. The reason I think Resident Evil 7 worked with first person is because the monsters you were fighting, they were genuinely tailored for the first person experience.
Yeah.
I would not, at least according to how my brain interprets lickers in Resident Evil 2, I would not like to deal with lickers and any of the... I mean, imagine fighting G in Resident Evil 2, like the end boss versions. You would literally... I mean, God, stars!
Yeah.
Just imagine fighting Nemi. You would literally feel like crying internally. It probably wouldn't be so bad in PSVR mode, but it's just regular mode. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I hope it's like an optional thing, or it is third person but VR anyway. But regardless of that, I really hope we do see it, because I've been hyped ever since Capcom confirmed that they were doing a Resident Evil 2 remake. So I fingers crossed that they do show it, but also there's Devil May Cry 5 as well. Now, it was on that previous list that I leaked, but there's quite a history of rumours surrounding this.
Yeah, so essentially what we have here, back late last year, I think it was around November, December time, there was another leak, actually, ironically enough, on Reset Era, and it was from a user by the name of Son of Sparta. Now, he said that we would indeed be seeing Devil May Cry 5, and it was Hideki Itsuno, that's how you pronounce his name, secret Capcom project, and it was actually a sequel to the original Devil May Cry series. So this is not the new Dante. Thank you. So according to this, there's going to be a release date between April 2018. Well, it's not April 2018 anymore. So, but it does go apparently until March 2019, and it was supposed to release earlier, but they decided to push it back until 2019 for, I'm guessing, whatever reason. It was apparently intended to be at the PlayStation conference, but Sony at PSX, but they instead decided to save it for E3 2018. There will be a demo before the release. The game has been in development for about 2 years, so it probably would be about 3 years when it's released. On top of that as well, it will have some form of PlayStation exclusivity, but apparently this is because Sony are paying for some funding of the game, but not all of it. So whether it's a complete PlayStation PS4 exclusive, whether it's console or timed or what, we don't know. There's been a trailer already, but they've not released it, and the overall game is supposed to be ambitious, and apparently there's going to be a lot of DMC cutscenes, and there's going to be a lot of talent which is returning, including the original voice actors for Dante, Nero, Virgil, and apparently, and this is possibly some spoiler territory, so I'm going to go into some very basic stuff, not all of it, but the story is going to pick up directly after DMC 4, so if you're interested in playing this, you might want to play Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, 4. And on top of that, there's going to be more than one playable character, including Dante. I won't mention anything else, because I don't want to start giving spoilers. So what's your thoughts on this?
So yeah, I would 110% be down for more DMC. Excuse me. I wouldn't mind to see Nero again. I enjoyed playing as him in DMC4. His character, it was kind of just very generic Johnny on boss shouting a lot, which is all he really does. But in terms of pure gameplay, which to be fair is what I'm playing DMC4 at least, I did enjoy it. Now, I didn't hate DMC. Dante, that I said about him, the better. However, the level design I really liked. but it was way too easy for a DMC game. Like, it shouldn't be like Dark Souls level hard or anything, but it was too easy for a DMC game.
Did you ever play DMC Dante? The original DMCs, and did you ever play it in Dante Must Die mode?
No, because I'm not a masochist.
I was actually playing it in Dante Must Die mode with my friend Tony, and because he'd just come from the States at the time, so I was taking my PS2 to his house.
Right.
And we were playing Dante Must Die mode, and I believe he summed it up best, my friend, when he said, "Dude, when they say Dante must die, there's no ambiguity there. It's like, yes, he will die. He will die painfully. He will die now.
Yeah.
He will die instantly." It's like you get hit, and like you just watch like 50% of your life go done.
Yeah, I was.
It was fun though.
No, I was never going to do that. I'm not a crazy person. So yeah, I would definitely be down for DMC. Like traditional DMC, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, me too. I have to confess.
So, whether or not this list is true, it's debatable. But I wouldn't, even if this list is fake, I would not be surprised to see most of this list at Sony's conference, if that makes any sense at all.
I think this list, to me, is either a fake, which, is a good possibility, but the fake is going to be so close to being accurate that you might not tell it's a fake. Or it's a leak, and if it's a leak, it's like, well...
That's a pretty solid conference, Sony, like 10 out of 10, basically.
I would say it's a solid conference, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's not like it's... If, for example, the leak had been, or whatever, something like Square are working on a new Chrono game, or, I don't know, Sony have managed to somehow hypnotize Konami to release another Silent Hill or something like that, then I'll be like, okay, that's interesting. But a lot of these games, it's just like, okay, well, I can definitely see that. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing there that's surprising. And I was saying this in a private conversation to you the other day, as you know, that's why Sony's conference a couple of years ago, when they were like, yeah, Final Fantasy VII, God of War, and Shenmue, and all of that. That's why it was so good, because everyone was just like, I did not see that coming. Oh my god! And it was like the hype levels were out of control. So I don't know if we're going to get a repeat of that with this these set of announcements, but it would be extremely strong. What was funny?
If Shenmue keeps being delayed, no one will see it coming.
So we should probably call out the video, because we've been talking for almost 25 minutes. Any last thoughts on the list?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye for now.